What's up guys, welcome back to Texas Young Guns. If you haven't been to our channel before, remember to like our channel and subscribe to it. We put out videos every week for traveling and RVing and all kinds of stuff. In this week's video, I'm going to show you how to hitch your fifth wheel to your truck. So first things first, we're going to cover two sides of this. We're going to cover the truck side and we're going to cover the RV side. And before you hitch up, there's a few things that you need to remember to do before you attempt to hitch. Now, the first things first, obviously you need to make sure that your slides are in. I don't know of any manufacturer who wants you to have your slides out while you're hitching. So the obvious part is to have your slides in. Make sure you have your stairs in, all your compartments closed, and all that kind of stuff before you get started. Also, you want to make sure that the front of your rig is at hitching height. For us, it's a little simpler because there's actually a mode on our leveling system that allows it to go up to hitch height where it tries to remember it plus or minus a couple of inches where it got unhitched. But you need to make sure that your RV is at that level. And come on, I'll come show you. So for us, it's really simple because we have the new ground control system on the newer RVs. And so our controller here actually will allow you to put it at hitch height. And let me show you how to do that. So on ours, you basically turn it on by pressing the up and down. And all you gotta do is press hitch height. So as you can see on our particular rig, and it should work this way for most rigs, it lifted up all of the jacks except for the front ones. And then you notice that the front ones actually lifted the RV up to about the hitch height. And you'll watch me in a second when I'm backing the truck up. It should be pretty close to what the actual hitch height in our truck is. Now, one of the obvious safety factors on the truck side is before you back up to your rig to hitch up, you need to put the tailgate down. And that's because if you don't, obviously the hitch is going to come and hit your tailgate. And if you've been to any RV parks, if you're new, you will see lots of damaged tailgates, and that's one of the reasons why, is because they forget to put it down. So in our truck we have the Super Glide hitch, which is a rotating hitch. It's actually made for short bed trucks, and what it does is when you make turns, the whole thing actually turns and it comes out towards the rear, so the front cap of your RV doesn't collide with your truck. However, the principles of hooking up to your fifth wheel are going to be the same no matter what hitch you have, but this is one that we have. Now, if you have a hitch like ours that rotates, as you can see this one rotates with the fifth wheel, you'll want to make sure that it is straight towards the back, not turned off to the side or nothing like that, because you're going to have a lot of weight hitting this hitch coming in and you don't want it turned like that. You're going to have a bad time. Another thing, in our experience, it's best if you get the head of the hitch roughly level. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it makes things easier in our experience. With all that said and done, it's time to back up to the trailer, but don't back up all the way. There's a couple of things that you're going to want to check before you finalize that hitch up. Now, before you back up to your trailer, this is when you and your wife or you and your spouse, this is when y'all need to have a good connection, because at this point it's a really good idea to have a spotter. Use your back window along with the direction of your spotter to back up to the trailer. Back up to where the hitch is in the bed, but you're not hitched up yet. And I'll show you why here in a second. So at this point, I've backed up to the rig, but I haven't hitched yet. And you notice that I have backed up far enough to where the hitch is in the bed, but I can actually close the tailgate. Now, you do want to close the tailgate, and at this point, you do not want anyone in between the back of that truck and the trailer, because if something goes awry, you don't want to crush anybody. So the point of closing it is because Now most trailers, when you back up, more than likely your tailgate will not hit the fifth wheel, but that's not guaranteed. If you're a little crooked or if something goes wrong and the trailer pops up out of the head up here, you certainly don't want that tailgate down because you're gonna smash it into your trailer. So at this point, with the hitch in it, I'm gonna go ahead and close the tailgate. And with the tailgate closed, I'm gonna show you that I have gotten about this close to the head. And with the head, you can see that it's almost perfect. The hitch height worked, but if it didn't work and you're manually doing it or it's a little bit off, no worries. So what you want is you want the front head to collide with the front lip of the actual hitch. And you want that hitch to have a little bit of weight on it. You don't want it to be above it because you're gonna want it to slide into the claws of your hitch. So you actually want, when your truck hits the hitch, you're actually gonna want the weight of that trailer down on top of the hitch a little bit in order to make sure it's flush and for those claws to wrap around and secure when you collide. So at this point, I did forget to mention something earlier. You want to make sure to have your wheels on your trailer chalked. I assume that you would, since the trailer's not hooked up to anything. But for a safety precaution, make sure that your wheels are chalked on your trailer. And at this point, you're ready to back up into it. Don't forget that spotter. That way he or she can help you finish hooking up. Now when you back up to the trailer, you don't want to do it too gingerly. You actually want to have some kind of force to it, because what that's going to do is when the pin comes into the hitch, it's going to force those claws to close. If you do it too slowly, too softly, it may not be enough force to make those jaws come around. If you do it too hard, obviously you're going to rock the world out of your trailer. So this comes with experience, but don't be afraid to give it a little bit of force. And I do say a little bit. I'm not telling you to gas it into your trailer, but a little bit of force will actually make the hitching process a little smoother. And with that being said, let's get it hitched. Also, it would be really important to note that you need to make sure that the jaws on your hitch are actually in the open position. Since you don't have a trailer hitch, more than likely the last time it was used, it was open, but you need to make sure that the jaws are open. If you try to hitch this with them closed, you're really going to damage some stuff. So I'll show you. On our system, our jaws are open, and there's two ways I can show you to do that, because our handle is all the way out and it's slack, but also you can look inside the hitch and you'll know that they're open. So at this point, you can see when I backed into the hitch that this bar went all the way in. On my particular hitch, which is the Super Glide, that means that it locked in. And we'll do a test here in a little bit to make sure that it did indeed lock. If yours has a feature where it has a pin that needs to go in or something like that, now's the time to do that, to finish locking it in. Let's go take the weight off of this truck. So it's important to note that if you have an automatic leveler like we do, or if you have the manual one, we are now going to take the weight off of the truck, but we're not going to retract the legs fully. I'm going to give it a couple inches, a few inches off of the ground, and I'm going to stop. And that's so we can do our brake test. Another thing you can do to make sure that the jaw is actually closed around your hitch pin, your kingpin, is you can actually come under here and you can actually look in the fifth wheel. There should be a viewpoint and you should be able to see that the jaws are closed. So you can see on our hitch that the jaws have wrapped around the kingpin. Alright, so we're going to do what is called the brake test, and that's going to make sure that the trailer stays on the hitch. And what you do is you actually pull your trailer brakes inside of your truck. You force the trailer brakes to come on and stop, and if the truck will not go, that means you have a good connection with the trailer. If it didn't have a good connection, the reason why I left the jacks only an inch or two off of the ground is that if it comes unhitched, no worries, it's only going to fall about an inch. And if you stop quick enough, you won't damage your vehicle. So let me go get the front wheel chocks and then we'll do the brake test. And the last thing to do before the brake test is to actually hook up your trailer to your truck so it can have power to run the brakes. So I have a Ford, but any truck will have this. In order to activate the trailer brakes, you will pinch this all the way. And what that will do is activate the trailer brakes when you try to pull forward. So I'm going to start the truck now. I'm going to put it in drive. I'm going to squeeze the trailer brakes, and I'm going to try to pull forward. If the trailer stops me and it does not come unhitched, then we should be good to go. Alright, and that's basically it. Now we're going to retract the front jacks, and after you've retracted them and put the feet up, you should be good to go. So let's go retract our jacks. Alright guys, I hope that was helpful. That is how to hitch a fifth wheel trailer. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. So we'll see you on the next video. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel. See you on the road guys. Happy camping.